Both characters have access to Fatal Blow. Oh, that's it! The way button!
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
Sometimes a fatal blow can be as satisfying as it is brutal, but with that said, there are certain fatal blows that really do suck. So today, let's have a look at the top 5 worst fatal blows in Mortal Kombat 11. Now, unlike the crushing blow countdown, I actually did have a tough time finding examples for this list, because as it turns out, this new comeback mechanic is absurdly strong for most characters, go figure. But without any further ado, let's begin. First up, we have Raiden's Thunder Take You. Now, this fatal blow doesn't seem too bad at first. It's 17 frames on startup, which isn't very fast, but it's not very slow either, and the range isn't half bad either. Pretty decent range on this bad boy. And then once the fatal blow is done, you get about 33% damage, which is about average for fatal blows in this game. However, where this fatal blow starts to fall apart is its hitbox. So Raiden already has this problem with a lot of his moves. He misses when he rightfully shouldn't, and it's the same with this move. So the first hit is actually a mid, just like this string right here. But even so, it's actually very easy for opponents to duck under this move with certain attacks. Now, they can't just neutral crouch. Thankfully, that's not possible, but they can do certain moves that put their characters so low that this move misses entirely despite being a mid. So for example, let's have Devora do a simple attack string real quick. So right here, she goes low and crawls across the floor. So as you can see, I missed completely. So if I'm a bit too slow, I'm gonna miss entirely. And there are a lot of strings actually, and a lot of attacks that do low profile just like this. So it's actually a lot easier to miss with this fatal blow than you might initially think. In fact, for one more example, let's check out Devora's uppercut, because that also ducks a little bit when she uppercuts. So as you can see, I still completely missed. All she did was uppercut, but I still missed her completely with a mid. I cannot stress that enough. It is a mid. It is meant to hit people who are crouching. But even so, once again, poor Raiden is a victim of a bad hitbox on his attacks. He has quite a lot of them, and sadly one of them is also his fatal blow. Now, of course, what this means is you always want to combo into this fatal blow, because doing it in the neutral can be very risky. Once again, not only is it not super fast, but the opponent can actually duck under it, whether it be intentionally or by accident, as long as their move gets low enough to the ground. And honestly, even its vertical hitbox isn't that great. It's not terrible. It can catch people jumping as long as you delay it a little bit, but if you're too early, it's just gonna miss entirely. It does not hit very much above Raiden, so it's not very good vertically or horizontally, unfortunately. So once again, if you're playing Raiden and you're low on health, make sure to always combo into this bad boy, because doing this fatal blow in the neutral is simply too risky. And next up, let's talk about Scarlet. So her fatal blow has the same problems as Raiden, only its range is much shorter. However, thankfully its startup is actually much quicker, 13 frames. And what this means is it's actually very easy to combo into it. However, once again, it does have short range, so make sure to not do any moves that knock the opponent too far away for it to reach. And just like Raiden's fatal blow, Scarlet's also has the weird hitbox problem. Once again, it is a mid, but it will still miss opponents who get low enough to the ground. They can just fly right under it. And I think the weirdest part about this fatal blow having short range is that Scarlet wants to be a keep away character, or at the very least a zoner, but she can do really good at full screen. So having a fatal blow that has to be right in the opponent's face is kind of odd and a bit of a contradiction for her playstyle. Now, you could argue that because it's got short range and it's faster, it's actually good when the opponent's on top of Scarlet and she needs a way out. She can just armor through it and get them off of her, and that argument could be made, but at the same time, I think it would have made more sense for her to have a fatal blow like Frost or even Aaron Black that hits full screen but is a bit slower. But once again, just like Raiden, because this fatal blow is a bit faster than some, it's perfect for comboing into, especially after short combos. And despite being a zoner, Scarlet really is the combo queen in this game. She has some really good meterless combos, so comboing into this fatal blow isn't very difficult for her. So if you're picking up Scarlet, do remember, even though she is technically a zoner, her fatal blow treats her as more of a combo character, so make sure to get in close and combo into it. And this next one might be cheating, but as mentioned earlier, I had a tough time finding some bad fatal blows in this game, so I'm going to talk about Kotal Kahn's pre-patch fatal blow. So as you can tell, the first hit already has really bad range, so you gotta be right in the opponent's face if you want to land it. However, this fatal blow doesn't actually trigger unless that second hit connects, and back in the day, the first part of this fatal blow had so much knockback on hit that it would knock the opponent either too high or too far away for the second hit to land, especially if you comboed into it. So what this meant was, even though the first hit of your fatal blow did land, you would be denied all the damage. You would just get that first hit, then the opponent would fall out, and you wouldn't get any of the animation that comes with a fatal blow. Now thankfully this has been mostly fixed. Now if the first hit lands, the second hit is almost guaranteed to land as well because it kind of sucks the opponent in instead of knocking them away. So that's very nice, though I have heard it is still possible for the second hit to whiff even now, so it still has a few flaws here and there. But thankfully it's fast, 13 frames just like Scarlet, and the range is really bad, but it has a second hit which can sometimes close the gap and catch people if their move has a ton of recovery. So in summary, Kotal Kahn's fatal blow is much better now, or I guess I should say it's much more normal now. It's still a 2-hitting fatal blow, which is quite unique in this game, but thankfully you no longer have to worry about it dropping the combo as long as you get that first hit to land, so that's always something to be happy about. But let's never forget how bad Kotal Kahn's fatal blow used to be. And next up we have Cassie Cage. Now don't get me wrong, Cassie Cage is by no means a bad character. She has decent pressure and solid mix-ups up close, she has some of the best counter zoning in the game, and her damage and footsies are also decent, so she is by no means a bad character, but this fatal blow is lacking in a lot of ways. The only thing this fatal blow really has going for it is that it's an overhead, and that can be a mix-up that catches beginners off guard, or maybe the player just isn't very familiar with Cassie Cage or just isn't expecting an overhead. It can sometimes catch them, but even so, check out the startup on this thing. 32 frames, that is pretty darn slow. In fact, it's so slow that it's actually hard to find strings that combo into it. Now thankfully Cassie does have some, one of which is actually her punish string, so 1-2, that can actually combo into it. That's not too bad. And she also has this mix-up, which can also combo into it, but you have to do the far version, so just keep that in mind. She does have different angles for her fatal blow. So as the player, you have to be aware of that, otherwise you're going to whiff and miss out on your fatal blow. And that's not good because just like Shao Kahn, the recovery on this thing is not good. So 31 frames of recovery, 31 frames of startup, that is over a full second if you miss, that the opponent has to react and then punish you. So be careful when comboing into this thing. If you don't do the right version, it's going to miss completely, like right here. And then if you're fighting a female character, some of Cassie's combo conversions don't even work. So right there, the combo actually would have landed on a male hurt box, but against female characters, a lot of her go-to combo routes don't even work. Part of me wonders if Cassie Cage's fatal blow was designed before they decided to give armor to fatal blows, because she hangs around in the air for a long time, which makes me think, oh, she was meant to actually avoid keep away, because she already kinda has that sort of playstyle. And the idea of this fatal blow was to avoid a projectile and then fly in, but since fatal blows are armored anyway, Cassie doesn't really have a reason to hang out in the air for that long. Instead, it just increases her startup time even more and makes it even more likely for this fatal blow to miss because the opponent's already recovered. Put simply, Cassie Cage's fatal blow is just really slow, which means only certain strings can even combo into it, and then against female characters, you'll have an even harder time comboing into it even if you land a crushing blow or a meter burn. And next up we have Shao Kahn. Now I love this character, I really do, not just his playstyle, but just his character personality as a whole, but sadly his fatal blow, like a lot of his toolkit, is severely lacking. So for starters, the startup on this thing is abysmal, 25 frames. That is almost twice as slow as Kotal Kahn's. Now thankfully its range is okay, but not great. As you can see, Shao Kahn is aiming more upward than he is actually in front of him, and that spear actually is the hitbox, which means if that spear misses, the combo will drop completely. And this can sometimes happen when you're comboing the opponent and they're right in front of your face, because the spear does not seem to hit right in front of Shao Kahn. And this has caused even pro legends like Video Games Yo to drop their combo at grand finals and possibly cost them the entire match. And I will never forgive that, NetherRealm. I will never. How are you gonna do Video Games Yo like that? Shao Kahn can't hit the opponent if they're right in front of him and he's comboing them? That's just ridiculous. And that is why I will never forgive NetherRealm. It's just a meme, everybody. Don't freak out. I love you, NetherRealm. Kisses. And since Shao Kahn's fatal blow is so slow, you may have gathered it's actually tough to combo into it anyway. Now of course he does have situations where he can, but you have to be careful, because if you're even a bit too late on your combo, you'll miss the fatal blow, and the recovery on this thing is also nuts. it takes it over a full second for the whole animation to play out. So if you miss and drop it, the opponent can just get up and full combo punish you because it takes that long to recover. And I almost forgot to mention that despite playing as Shao Kahn, your fatal blow actually does below average damage, as crazy as that is. So not only is this fatal blow pretty darn slow on startup, not only does it take a full 24 hours to recover if you miss it, and not only is it very difficult to combo into and will sometimes miss even when the opponent's right in front of you, but on top of all of that, it also does below average damage. So poor Shao Kahn just can't catch a break in this game. This is so sad. Leave a like down below to help Shao Kahn. So in my opinion, it's sad to say, but I think Shao Kahn might have the worst fatal blow in the entire game. But please let me know which fatal blow you think is the worst in the comment section down below. And then while you're down there, please leave a like if you enjoyed the video. It really does help my channel out a ton. And finally, why not keep that combo going by subscribing and ringing that bell? That way you never miss a future video. Make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs.